Hello, this is architect Tanseem, founder and principal architect at T4 Architecture Studio, an architectural practice based in Kochi. On behalf of IAA Cochin Center, it's my honor and privilege to welcome Yolodi plus Maria Architects to the third edition of Living Monsoon. Yolodi plus Maria Architects is an Indonesian architecture firm led by Gregorius Supi Yolodi and Maria Rusantana. Known for their innovative and context-sensitive designs, they focus on culturally resonant architecture and sustainability, blending modernity with local tradition. Their projects often feature a thoughtful integration of natural elements and materials, trying to harmonize the buildings with the surroundings. We are very excited to have you both here as part of Living Monsoon. Welcome architect Gregorius Supi Yolodi and Maria Rusantana to the third edition of Living Monsoon that we as a center, IAA Cochin Center, hold every year. This is the third edition. We are very excited to have you both here, and we have a few quick questions to you before we start the talk session. May I first ask you, how was the journey?
Well, I think we didn't have the chance to come here before for the award of the monsoon, but now this is a very special event. Thank you to having us here, and it is interesting as it's beautiful. We saw a lot of similarity with our place, and I think it's very good and passionate events with all friends of architects here to have this event and discussion and so on. I think looking forward.
Yeah, we are equally excited to hear from you, sir and ma'am. So I've been reading about your works, and one thing that I really wanted to ask you is all your projects integrate local cultural elements with modern architecture. With fast-paced urbanization in tropical contexts, how do you actually approach this balance between tradition and innovation?
I think traditional architecture has good things in its times and context.
Yes.
And maybe for now we can learn from the good things from traditional architecture, but try to reinterpret, rethink about it, and become something that can be context to the present time.
And I have also found that sustainability is a key aspect in most of your designs, whether we talk about the Wallando Library and Community Center that we got, that the IAA Living Monsoon got a commentation in, or maybe the Tamarind House that we talk about. The sustainability is a key aspect. So how do you actually take this process up to incorporate sustainable aspects in design? Is there any particular strategy that you adopt and work with?
So I think number one, as I think all of we as an architect always considering the context of the place, context of the people, context of course the culture in that area, and then the materiality of it. So if we're looking back what we had before, the vernacular architecture or traditional architecture, we can learn the wisdom of it. And of course, during that time, vernacular architecture happened because the situation at that moment.
Yeah.
And I think we need to move forward with the new technology,
Exactly.
with the of course the changing of the culture, the habit and everything, and people will moving forward to the future. I guess we have to sort of bring that wisdom into a present now to face the future, to be relevant again, not only now but in the future. And the issue of sustainability, I guess it's become something that not only most of maybe development they said is sustainable and everything because of marketing gimmicks, but I think this to be is like a morality as an architect. We should try to give to give some to something that in the micro project in micro architecture that we develop or we design, we can contribute a little bit to the society, to the environment and so on. I guess that is a challenge. That's a
And a responsibility.
as a responsibility, and of course there's a how to convince that, because sort of something like that, um, maybe you can, to the client there will be the cost will be different, and they might say they don't need it and whatsoever. But again, we always try one by to convince one by one, and so on.
When we talk about changing technology, we also talk about changing climate. As architects, how do you navigate the challenges posed by the changing climates? Is there a strategy that you adopt, you have worked out over the years to adapt your designs to the monsoon settings?
I think, like for instance, like Indonesia, we have at the general the same as tropical in Ecuador, but in each different area, because we have so many islands. We in specific microclimate totally different. There's some area which is dry, some area is very wet, very windy, and so on. It's savanna, or also some areas is monsoon as well. So number one, I think in the principle that we really love to feel the wind, to see the rain without being wet, right? Without being too windy, we want to have a nice what do you call it, weather in those architecture. Again, if we can use all of those principles, then at that one point we can reduce some of energy, because we can use the natural ventilation and so on. Because again, but the challenge is, because the climate change, sometimes you cannot predict again the rain. It's in sometimes in a year the wind is changed, so the rain is coming to one side. Maybe in in our studio, like during a few months in a year, the wind coming from the other side of the direction. So we're quite surprised. Wow, why this wall now become a little bit splashy in that area, but the rest of the months it's fine, sort of like that. It never happened before. But again, so when I think it's like a vernacular architecture. It's a process by learning, by trying, then, and hopefully, but this is our responsibility as well, not to make this climate even worse.
Change
even worse. True that. Change further, probably. All
right. So, like you were talking about varied landscapes, it becomes even more difficult to actually come to a kind of a strategy. There is no universal solution to the design. So, how do you approach that as a team? Have you worked out any particular strategy towards it, or is it changes? Obviously, it has to change from site to site and project to project. But is there any a checklist or some kind of guideline that you have for your team, which you strictly adhere to?
Firstly, maybe we always try to read the context of the projects, and how's the climate, how's the culture, and after that, after we survey and everything, maybe we try to search what kind of materiality that easily we can get there, and is there any spatial or any what do you call it?
Specific
material or craftsmanship
method.
Or method of construction that we can use to be a part of the sources of the construction for the project.
That exactly was my next question for you. Like, most of your projects demonstrate strong sense of materiality and craftsmanship. So how do you ensure while choosing a material that it resonates with the sustainability and the local artisanship?
So again, I think they will be related with the question before. There is no checklist and no recipe, but it's become a habit. When we come to one area, we and the team, us and the team as well, like automatically finding what is the possibilities of material that I have that we can use. and looking for the wind direction. If in the waterfront or in the beach, maybe the wind is always coming in different way in different months. So yeah, so then we try to research a few things about that, about the context, about the location and everything, and hope what we design then is we can not accommodate, we can live with that situation, if not change again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And maybe it will become a character of each of the project. Yeah, naturally.
So, how did you find Kochi? What are the similarities that you think are there between Indonesia and the landscape of?
I think more like Jakarta, yeah. Yeah, this morning we have a short time to explore, and we found that the system of the infrastructure and the traffic.
Yeah.
this is, I think it's like similar like developing countries. It's like a village, like a rural become a cities.
Yes.
So it's a growing
Organically,
development,
probably.
organically grow because of then economic came, and because I think this is more like port cities, right?
Yeah.
Near to the ports, and yeah, of course there's I think we see the influence of because of the trade. I see a lot of churches in here, and I think a lot of that's Jakarta. In North Jakarta at the beginning, at the colonial era, it's a very big port for the Dutch to bring all from whatever they have here from Indonesia to the Netherlands and so on. So I think the similarity of growing of the area using the canals as the transport at the beginning, and also the growth from the port area going the growth starting from the port to the area become the settlement and everything. I think we see the similarity. I think also the landscape. I think most likely similar is what we had in Indonesia.
Would you like to comment on the Living Monsoon series that IA Cochin Center is hosting? What do you think is the significance, or what are your aspirations about the program?
Well, I think it's a very great program. Yeah. So because it's
can exchange, we can discuss
exchange
ideas because we have a similarity, like we discussed.
And awareness of how to deal with the monsoon climate, about the situation and so on. I guess in the region we can share each other. I think it's very great. I think it's very...
It is actually very important also, because the tropical context and designing in tropical context is all what we're doing. So we need to be discussing this, and the challenges offered by the climate change is definitely something that we need to address as architects, the responsible community.
Yeah, the strategy and the thought and everything to exchange and share I think it's a very great idea and very thoughtful.
I have one last question for you. What is the advice that you would like to offer to young architects who have just started the practice? What would you like to tell them in finding their voices amidst the changing climates, the challenges that is posed by the changing climates, especially in monsoon settings? What would it be, your advice to them?
For young architects, don't stop. Always consistent, because it's not easy being an architect. Number two, maybe always explore, do not copy, because it's so easy right now to browsing and copy and everything. Try to explore what is the very specific of each place, about the climate and everything. And then maybe always think sustainable, and always think about always context to the place that every architect designed.
So would you like to comment as well?
I think what's beautiful in architecture, when we finally find out that's become a part of life. So architecture itself is like your life situation. So it's hard, as Maria said. It's I think every architect will say it's very difficult to do it. And as long if you like it, if you love what you do, if you can integrate everything with your life, I think you can start with starting when you start as young architect or whatsoever. You can move on, always consistent and finding your path because you love it. You can do the research, you can do the Monsoon events and so on because you like what you do. You concern what you do. That's the principle, I guess. That's the spirit that we have to find, and I think we can start at very early until, of course, your whole life become an architect, I guess.
Thank you so much, Yolodi plus Maria Architects, for accepting our invitation, for sharing your insights here today. The conversation has been truly inspiring, and we look forward to your talk session at the event soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.